Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Film Valor. Very excited to be back here today again. Really just wanted to give you some quick updates before we start in on our John Carpenter Appreciation Day 1, which I'm hoping there's more of.
John Carpenter Appreciation Quarantine Day.
Quarantine Day, that's right. Well, first of all, we're doing very well on No Fear, right Adam?
Yeah.
The movie looks great.
Looks great, the editing's looking good.
It's going well. I'm doing the editing myself and Adam's doing the score. So it's a very unique experience. We go back and forth to each other's rooms and say, are you doing this? We're doing that. And it's very funny. And it's not your typical process. But I think that's also what's very cool about it and unique about what we do. That I think people who are even on lower budgets or whatever might find fun about how we make movies.
Right.
It's a very intimate process.
It is. We were talking about that a little earlier today and probably a little bit last night about...
There's no other team someplace else.
Yeah, you don't have an editor or a composer that you got to pay a lot of money. That's so it saves on our budget, and I think it's just more efficient to have two people who are in very close proximity together.
Yeah.
So to work and just say, hey, does this work? Does this work?
What we were just talking about too is how cool is it that Adam's a composer? Wow, we got lucky on that, and that really also brings us into today's topic. For me, especially not being that musically inclined, I do play the drums, as he reminded me yesterday, which is true. But I don't know anything about making music, so it was always very fortunate that my skills also met Adam's skills, that he could make music, and he was a great composer, which I think he really then worked his way into being excellent at film scoring. It was really an incredible process to watch. But who does that remind us of is one of the all-time greats is John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And I think that brings us into one of our favorite Carpenter films that Adam really introduced me to.
Yeah, I love this film. And I think it's, before that, let's talk about the music. Probably, this movie has probably one of the greatest intros.
Yeah.
One of the best intros with music in it. It's very rock heavy, it's very cool, it's very different. And of course it's John Carpenter. And it's In the Mouth of Madness.
I don't know, this book will drive people crazy. Well, let's hope so. The movie comes out next month.
What an excellent movie this is. Let's talk about, let us count the ways, okay? There's so many different things that are great about In the Mouth of Madness, not the least of which is, like Adam was saying even, it has that Carpenter fun vibe, right? It's like they live in like so many of his other movies, even post-Halloween, where the movie's just willing to have fun. So what is it about Mouth of Madness that makes it special?
I think it's Sam Neill's character. I'm a big fan of Sam Neill. Jurassic Park, Event Horizon, you name it. And I like his character, good actor, like his character, and also I think, In the Mouth of Madness deals with H.P. Lovecraft. There's a lot of Lovecraft in it, and I'm just, if it has Lovecraft, I'm good. You got me sold.
The great thing about, definitely about the fact that the source material itself is so strong is the fact that when you add Carpenter on top of that source material, it becomes like triple amplified. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have, and they always say that the movie starts with the script. It's definitely true, but great source material written the right way and boiled down to what its component parts are. The madness and the elements of Lovecraft that make it best, which is the creatures from the beyond, the elements of other dimensions and other things like that. Wow, how great is it when you have Lovecraft plus Carpenter? I mean, let's just talk about our love for H.P. Lovecraft for a second. Another thing Adam introduced me to, which was actually pivotal to my understanding of the horror genre and things like that. I actually went out and read all of the Lovecraft stories, and we have some favorites as well that we really also look at. The great thing, too, is that there is a lot of different parts about this movie that deal with other Lovecraft concepts, It doesn't just stay within the realm of sort of its original source material, but it also looks at the body of work. Do you want to expand on that a little bit as well, for people that might know less about Lovecraft?
Yeah, I think what it also deals with is it's not just, one person's problem. You know, eventually in a lot of Lovecraft works, you know, it expands to the whole world, or
Yeah.
something cataclysmic happens, and especially in the Mouth of Madness, you know, if you spoiler alert, the very end, you know, he wakes up and he realizes that he was just a figment of someone's imagination.
Yeah.
And that he was created, you know, and he has his own. He has a set destiny. That's another thing. He has a set destiny that goes a lot with maybe some religious elements too, which I'm just realizing now.
I don't feel like, at least, a lot of Carpenter's movies directly, and correct me if I'm wrong, thinking about it, they don't actually really directly deal with madness as much. It seems like it's usually an outside threat, right? That is legitimately there.
Yeah.
You know, even if you look at Christine, or if you look at Halloween, or The Thing, if you look at The Fog, it is actually a legitimate, even vampires, you can pretty much name all of them. They always deal with a threat that's coming in. Is there, or is in the tribe, as Carpenter would say, as part of his fears. A threat that's on the inside, but not necessarily a concept or an obsession that's on the inside of a person's being.
I remember an excerpt of The Horror Cafe with Clive Barker, John Carpenter.
Yeah, reference
they were all talking about what they're afraid of, and Carpenter always said, like, losing control, you know, going mad, or losing, dementia and all that stuff. So it's really cool, as you said, that, you know, he didn't really, in Halloween, maybe The Thing, probably the closest thing in Ward, where, you know, he deals with, losing your mind, going mad, and all that stuff. So it's really cool that he would do this in, 95? 96?
Yeah, it's really towards the later part of his career, right?
Yeah, especially in The Mouth of Madness, all the monsters are pretty much prominent, you know.
Yes. And they're lit brilliantly. That was one of the things that we talked about in No Fear a lot, was this movie's lighting of those monsters, and how Carpenter specifically dealt with the interdimensional or the different realms of these creatures. You know, how did the light land on them? Even it was an important part of how we shot things in our movie. What was it about that moment also that you highlighted for me when we were making?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, if you guys have seen the movie, at the very towards the very end, you could see Sam Neill's character running through this corridor or hallway, and he's looking behind him, and you could see these, very, dark shadows, or the old ones coming through, with little lights, showing, their teeth, their arms, their eyes, and you don't really see their full body of it, which is cool. You kind of left on, like, oh, this thing is, like, right behind him.
Like pieces of.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think if you freeze it at a particular moment, you could see, like, all of them lined up, and they're, like, big, massive, like, things, and it's really cool. And because for me, like, I don't know, I was a kid when I first saw it. I was always wondering, like, what do these things really look like? In the light, and with them standing up tall. I was always fascinated on monsters. What they really look like, where they're coming from. And especially with where he rips the pages, and or the wall, and he sees this vast void.
Yeah,
you could hear them coming up. I'm like, I want to know what he's looking at right now.
Incredible.
Even though he's looking at nothing, I just to see that whole void.
That whole sequence is so really brilliantly designed in so many different ways. And you're right, and it actually brings out an interesting point within the scope of this too, is that you actually do see, this actually seems like one of the times that Carpenter shows you more of the monster, and so many times, and even in just the original concept of Halloween and using the mask and everything else, is so much of what his work is about hiding the thing, even in the thing. The thing is something else. So this actually seems like one of his movies where he just goes full out showing you the monster, but he does it in very creative ways. He shows you the pieces of them.
Alright guys, if you like this episode, leave a like, comment, and share. We're going to be in quarantine for a while, it looks like, so we're going to have plenty more videos to do for you guys. Please leave a comment below on if you guys are a fan of In the Mouth of Madness, or if you like Carpenter, if you don't like Carpenter, and what's your favorite Carpenter film if you do like him. We'll see you later. Take care.